everybody and welcome to the ESI Digest, where we run through the biggest esports business related news stories of the week. I'm your host, Tom Daniels, the sub-editor of Esports Insider, and today we have 5 huge news stories from the world of esports business. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Ninjas in Pyjamas joining the LPL and as a result merging with ESV5. Nerd Street Gamers announcing a collaboration with Blast Premier for the Fall Showdown. We Are Nations launching a new apparel vehicle called Entain. Loud securing a content partnership with Facebook. And finally, we're going to be talking about Entain acquiring Unikrn for a reported 50 million, whilst also naming a head of esports. But before we jump into this week's ESI Digest, I do want to thank our partners for this episode, payment processing company Nuvei. So if you want to learn more about their end-to-end payment technology platform and the processing solutions that are available, then head over to their website. So let's get into it. Our first story of the ESI Digest sees us talk about Swedish esports organisation Ninjas in Pyjamas and their merger with Chinese esports brand ESV5, creating NIP Group in the process. Now, as a result of this merger, Ninjas in Pyjamas will return to League of Legends by joining Riot Games' Chinese franchise league, the LPL. From the 2022 LPL season, Victory 5 will be rebranded as Ninjas in Pyjamas. It's interesting to note that Victory 5 did finish bottom of the LPL 2021 summer split with, I believe, an 0-16 record. So hopefully this kind of merger also provides extra competition into the league as well, especially now with Ninjas in Pyjamas wanting to probably do a little bit better than what they did in the first time they kind of expanded into League of Legends. They previously had a team in the European League of Legends scene from 2013 to 2018. So this is a big move for Ninjas in Pyjamas to kind of come back to this title as well. One other major factor to really consider, which I do feel like was kind of lost in the wayside a little bit, is the fact that the same procedure will occur to Victory 5's Wild Rift team as well. So Ninjas in Pyjamas will also have a League of Legends Wild Rift, which is kind of the expansion more into mobile esports as well. Overall, I think this is a great move for Ninjas in Pyjamas, actually joining the LPL, which is already one of the most popular leagues in League of Legends, if not the most popular league in League of Legends, is kind of good for a brand, which is kind of wanting to expand itself globally. Obviously, there are thoughts of why they didn't kind of acquire a European League of Legends squad, but it does feel like this is more of a global effort to attract more fans in. Our second story of the ESI Digest sees Nerd Street Gamers partner with Blast Premier to host an official Blast Premier Fall Showdown CSGO qualifier. Now, the qualifier is set to take place at Fragadelphia 15, which is an offline American tournament organised by Fragadelphia and Nerd Street Gamers on September 10th, I believe. And the tournament will also feature a $60,000 prize pool. With the competition now being a qualifier, according to the release, the top 4 teams of the Fragadelphia tournament will move on to face 4 invited North American CSGO teams for a spot at Blast Premier Fall Showdown. If you do want to read more about how this partnership and collaboration came about, then I would recommend you do read the Esports Insider article. We go in depth with Steven Siskoff, the VP of Esports Operations and Strategy at Nerd Street Games, about how this collaboration came about. The final bit of information really is that 3 of the 4 teams have also been announced of the invited sides which will be competing against the Fragadelphia winners, and they are Extra Salt Pain and Godsend. Overall, I think this is great news for Nerd Street, for CSGO, and for Blast. It's a trifecta of good news. It kind of provides a little bit more of a path to pro. Like, you've got the amateur teams from Fragadelphia who will now have the chance to kind of compete in the Blast Premier Fall Showdown. Even if they don't end up making it there, I think the fact that there is still kind of a clear path now is really good for the CSGO scene. So overall, I think this is a great move. So let's move on to our third story of the ESI Digest, and it is that esports merchandising company We Are Nations has announced the launch of N2, which is a new vehicle for housing and marketing apparel collections. The launch of N2 continues We Are Nations' expansion into other sectors while also kind of looking at the apparel sector as well. And to be specific, N2 will be used for collections that are designed and produced by We Are Nations in collaboration with designers, artists, creatives with an affiliation to gaming. Alongside the launch of N2, We Are Nations also announced its first collaboration under the vehicle, which is with Japanese artist Yoshitaka Amano to create the Devilaka collection. Now, the collection will officially drop on August 20th and will be available via network in the US, Futuroku, I apologize if I got that wrong, in Japan, and also on N2's website globally. For those who don't know who Amano is, in the gaming industry, he is widely known for his conceptual illustration work, for the characters, monster design, and iconography for Final Fantasy. Moreover, they've also revealed details about what will be included in the collection, and that includes a long-sleeve t-shirt, a fleece-lined hoodie, a French Terry crew neck sweatshirt, and a hooded reversible jacket. Personally, I think while it's always important to keep your esports roots, it's also very essential for organizations to branch out into other verticals. And we're seeing this with We Are Nations as well. They're sticking to kind of what they know, which is with merchandise, but they're also kind of going into different sectors, you know, especially in the gaming focus sector, and having gaming apparel is also very, very good. And obviously, as gaming kind of continues to rise, esports continues to rise also, and we're kind of seeing it with esports organizations as well, you know, going into more content creation than competitive. So I'm really looking forward to see what the next collaborations will be, and also kind of where does this leave We Are Nations with what other partnerships they've got in the future as well. A penultimate story in the ESI Digest sees us head over to Latin America, and Brazilian esports organization Loud has announced a partnership with social media platform Facebook. Now, as a result of this deal, Loud will create Free Fire and GTA gameplay highlights exclusively for Facebook Gaming. Now, these exclusive videos will be published on Loud's Facebook page and are expected to include a lot of kind of the content creators around those specific titles. Moreover, in Brazil, Loud will be the first gaming partner to test Facebook's new monetization tools. Now, according to the release, these new initiatives include fans being able to comment on streams and also give stars. I don't know exactly what that is, but in addition, Facebook's tip for streamers and content creators initiatives will also be implemented as well. In terms of details, there isn't much more to say about this partnership. However, it is huge for Facebook to gain exclusive content by Loud. Loud is one of the biggest esports organizations in the world, despite the fact that they are primarily focused around the LATAM market. And so to kind of have them on board with Facebook Gaming and also have exclusive content come out through that, I think can only be a positive for Facebook Gaming. Also, implementing their monetization tools into the Brazilian organization is also really smart. It kind of shows how, you know, this is going to work, and particularly the fact that Loud is the only organization in Brazil to kind of have this right now is also a huge kind of boost for Loud themselves as an organization, and a really test of how big this organization is in the region. So I don't think there's much more you can really talk about this partnership, but I expect more of these partnerships to occur, especially now as kind of streaming sites are looking to gain exclusivity over things as well. Maybe not in terms of like broadcast rights, but definitely like exclusive content like we're seeing here. You can probably expect a few more of these deals come in the next 2 years around the world. I finally saw the ESI Digest sees us go into the world of esports betting, and sports betting, gaming and interactive entertainment group Entain has agreed to purchase esports betting company Unikrn. Now, the purchase price is expected to be around £50 million according to a report by The Times, with Entain acquiring Unikrn's technology platform, products and its team. Entain has also bolstered its position in the esports betting sector further with the appointment of Justin Delero, who is formerly of Twitch, as its new head of esports. Overall, Entain acquiring Unikrn and also bolstering its esports approach within esports betting is huge for that specific sector. Now, for those who don't know, Entain's subsidies and the sister companies include the likes of Bwin, Coral, Ladbrokes, Party Poker, so they have huge kind of names and brands associated with them. And to see a player like this kind of go into esports betting and use kind of Unikrn as, I believe, what is going to be the hub for esports betting is very interesting, and it does just highlight the growth of esports as a whole, because as esports itself continues to rise, you start to see more like TV rights getting introduced, you know, more mainstream media wanting to get attention, and also esports betting and betting in general also wanting to kind of get a little bit of this revenue which is coming in. So it'll be really interesting to see kind of how Unikrn now develops in the future. Obviously now with a new head of esports coming in as well for Entain, it'll be really interesting to see kind of if there's going to be more partnerships as well which come into the future. So there's a lot to kind of think of with this kind of purchase. but it is a big move in the esports betting sector. And that's it for this week's ESI Digest. If you want to read up on any of the stories that I have covered or more which has actually come out over this week, then don't forget to head over to Esports Insider's website. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and wherever you're listening to me as well. But until then, I'll see you next week.